So, how did something once called a mortal sin become the very foundation of our entire economy? Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. Usury didn't mean crazy high interest. It literally meant any interest at all.
And believe me, the stakes were sky high. Ancient texts condemned it in the strongest terms you can imagine. This idea carried right into medieval Europe, where the church upped the ante, calling it a mortal sin against justice.
The core argument? It came from Aristotle. He argued money was sterile. It couldn't just breed more money on its own. Their logic was based on a Roman loan contract, so demanding profit back was basically seen as straight up theft.
But commerce has to happen, right? So the church came up with some, let's call them workarounds. Now, these weren't just loopholes for interest. They were for actual damages that happened after the loan was made.
Then came the Protestant Reformation, a huge turning point, especially when you look at the views of Luther versus Calvin.
Calvin's simple question just completely reframed the debate. He basically said, hey, money in business is productive.
But hold on, this wasn't a total free-for-all. Calvin laid out some really strict ethical rules for this stuff.
This new way of thinking slowly started to become actual law, especially over in Protestant England, a real key example. And man, was it a struggle. For decades, English law just kept flipping back and forth on the whole issue. But that 1571 law, it had a huge impact. Regulation actually helped bring real-world interest rates way down. By the 1620s, the whole conversation started to change. It became less about sin and more about, well, economics. The new thinking was that lowering interest was essential for trade. It was a must-do for the national economy. And that's how we got here. This long evolution created the split we all know today: legal interest versus illegal usury. So this whole journey leaves us with a big question for today's world of credit cards. Where do we draw that line now?